What a game, what a day, what a test series. Day 25, and it didn't, of course, cease in terms of entertainment, drama, so on and so forth. My name's Avni Shaikh. You're watching the 91st episode of MNL Monday Night Live, and I have, of course, the two guys who do it with me all the time. If you guys have been living under a rock, Akshay Kumar Swami still in the UK, and has a hard stop at 9:20, he tells me. And, of course, Nikhil Popat in that India blue. Boys, great win, great series. And it's a kind of an intriguing thumbnail that I've kind of suggested to our producer today, which is whether it's one of the top 3 or top 5 best series of all time. But first thoughts, gentlemen. Akshay, I'll start with you. How are you, and how's the mood in the UK after a 2-2 in this Anderson Tendulkar Trophy?
Yeah, I mean, funnily enough, I'm in a part of the country that's not really known for its cricket. I'm still in Scotland, and I'm in one of the sort of more northern, remote parts of Scotland in Aberdeen. But yeah, the game was fantastic, man. And the series itself, I still remember how vociferous I was in talking about the fact that this is a series I'm genuinely looking forward to, and even more so than the BGT itself, given the fact that both teams were so, in some sense, flawed, young, inexperienced. There were so many new names coming in. There were so many things to look forward to. So given all of it, and given the context, and given everything that happened during the series, this is definitely one for the ages, one for the history books. And yeah, I mean, it was just a story written in heaven for Siraj, man. Just the way he went about his business. He was criticized, almost rightfully so, up top, at the beginning of the series, with the way he went about his business, the way he was used even. And for him to bowl his heart out on the 25th day of the series, it's not been easy. Again, like, make no mistake, we might say that it's hard, but it's very hard for people like us even to fathom how difficult this is, because we play a 10-over game, outside our office, and we get tired. Here we're talking about someone who's had to bowl day in, day out for 25 days across a 60-day period, and not even 60, 40-day period. So just hats off to him, hats off to the side, by the way. I'll still be slightly more critical and say that all of this has happened despite the tactics, and not because of it. But we'll get to all of that and more later. But yeah, happy for everyone, and happy myself, of course.
Yeah, indeed, a fascinating subplots. I mean, Siraj comes to mind, Gill, of course, who pocketed the man of the series from an English POV, and rightly so. And so many other amazing stories which you want to dive deep into. Nick's your first assessment of things, because I know you went for a winner in your predictions, but look, I think cricket is one, and pardon the cliche, it's these kind of series which just make up why we make Test cricket such a big thing in our heads, even though we're grown-ass men. So take it away, your first piece.
I'm just so relieved in terms of there is destiny, there is luck, there is life, there is so much to cricket that I can go on, and you two guys can be on mute for 2 to 6 hours or 2 days, because I am just so happy for Siraj. I was crestfallen when I saw Siraj falling on his knees for that dismissal, and I kept saying कि Siraj का luck turn around होगा, luck turn around होगा, but luck just doesn't turn around. You have to show that you want it, and you want it as much as you think you should. So for him to be able to pull it off today, there was a quote yesterday when somebody said to me कि, next day, heavy roller, bro, they'll just come and run away with 35 runs. It will be done in 3 overs. And my only instinct was, this is happening for a reason. It is not happening just because if it was supposed to be so, it would have been done by Brook and Bethel only. But it wasn't supposed to pan out that way. So I'm all for those stupid cliches in life. But I just feel it's a very fair reflection for both the sides, that I think India were very good to dominate for a major part of it, but could not close the games out. England always found a way to keep India under pressure, and eventually a 2-2 series is as good as it can be. And I genuinely think this is the second best after the 2005 series for me, because I can't recall a series where so much has happened right through the series, whether it is bat, ball, on-field tactics, off-field tactics. And boy, I'm so happy for this bunch of people, because you have to remember they are a young team, a very young captain, leading into something that he has not been involved so much that we know how will come good. What is his style? Who will he pick? Who will he not pick? For all that to culminate in how we did today, it's just very happy for them.
Look, boys, I know we can go on, and Nick's rightly said it so as well. I just feel like let's break it down by this match, and then, of course, talk about whether it stands in the pantheon of great test series of all time. Akshay, Nick's mentioned the 2-2 result there, and that's what we're going to remember it even in the years to come, right? Now, if you look at the series, India could have ended up winning the series 4-1 because it's crazy how we didn't defend 370, of course, in the first test. And then after that, we slapped them by a huge, huge margin. Lords could have gone either way. I think India lost that, were unlucky. Manchester, we got out of hole. And then this at the Oval is splendid. So when you're thinking about it from even a Team India cricket fan, expert, player's perspective, 2-2, it's a great draw. It's not a bad result by any shape or form.
Oh, absolutely not. I mean, it's not like, India started off as favorites, and it's not like India historically has dominated in these conditions. So make no mistake, 2-2 is a very good result, and I wouldn't mind deeming it a success as well. But talking about how certain moments panned out and how we were in winning positions and in even the games that we lost, probably there would be a bit of that what if, like Nikhil Bhai said, like you said, sorry, it could have been a 4-1, it could have been a 3-1 and all of it. But yeah, that's not how cricket is played. For every leads, there's also a Kia over. Even here, the game was all but lost. 35 runs needed with 5 wickets in hand. You would have thought, okay, this game is done and dusted, but we still found a way to win. So we can't, we win some, we lose some, of course. And talking about the result itself, it's very tricky, right? Because yesterday, there was this graphic that was doing the rounds about sessions won and sessions shared and all of it. And apparently India had a clear lead in that. Like India had won about 30 sessions across the series, while England had won just the 18. And we could potentially see a 3-1 in England's favor. This was last night. And on the one side of it, people were like, yeah, India has been the more consistently dominant side throughout the series. So the scoreline doesn't reflect it. And on the flip side, the argument can be made that England were good when it came to those clutch moments, when it came to those crunch situations where you had to put your feet on the pedal. And which is why the series is going to be so poetic, because you're going to hear all sorts of arguments. And I, for one, haven't made my mind on how I'm looking at this, but I do think 2-2 is befitting of the contest that both sides put out, of the fights that both sides put out. And I guess both sides would be happy about this. Good stuff.
And thank you so much that you have done the tradition of speaking on mute.
I don't know why I'm muting myself today, because I'm actually doing MNL alone from home. Just had like chicken momos to celebrate and all of that. But anyway, coming back to the series scoreline, in the grander scheme of things for Gambhir, it looks really good. But say they went down 3-1, because to be fair, England could have been 4-1. And I say 4-1 because two moments they had their foot on India's throat. Make no mistake. None for two at Manchester, where Gill just scores a magical 100 and then, of course, gives confidence to Sundar and Jadeja to fight it out there. And then, of course, this match where Harry Brook admitted himself in the post-match presentation that he was gutted and devastated for him to throw the wicket away because he didn't shut the game down. And that gave India a foot in the door. So how would we look at it if India lost those 3 or 4-1 games? Would we still kind of doff our hat and be like, well played, and there's something that is bubbling here for the greater good?
See, I think for me, it wouldn't have changed the fact that I will not fault this team for doing what the best of their abilities. So that is out of the way. And I would still say the series is 2-2 only because India were tactically very off. Had they been tactically a bit more smart, a bit more game aware, this series could have been 3-2 or it could have been 4-1 in England's favor. But at this point in time, I am just satisfied that England did in India to ensure that India finished 2-2. India had their moments in the first test, in the third test as well, where India took the foot off the pedal. Brook and Bethel dismissals to me were a replica of how India gave away that advantage when India had that advantage. And again, I would still not say England gave it, because no sane mind, apart from a few crazy ones, would have still expected that Bethel ke out hone ke baad bhi India could go on to win. So I think as Akshay said, what's important to remember is you should not be questioning the team in terms of what they can do, but you should definitely be asking that there are things that they could have 100% done better, and they wouldn't have been in these positions had they done them better. And where they are controllable, yes. Catching, yes. The bowling usage, yes. I should just get usage printed somewhere because I can't keep going on about it. Sorry.
No, I mean, it's a point that you, of course, have made, and I it's worthy to think of right now, especially like how the series is panned out. I was just thinking in my mind, just in terms of how it goes forward for India, which we'll of course come to. This match, guys, let's just quickly talk about that because incredible game, absolutely madness. And you mentioned the Brook and Bethel incident there, where it was a turning point almost. And it's never ever happened in a test match, Akshay, apparently, where if a side is chasing 300 plus in a test and they've had the equation of 50 runs or lesser to chase with 6 wickets in hand, it's never happened. I think teams normally go on and get that. And it's surprising that this Basbolian team of Ben Stokes and McCullum didn't achieve that. This game, where do you think the pendulum swung? Because it was 224 in the first innings, then a slender lead that England got. I personally thought that Akash Deep's night watchman effort was brilliant, man. I mean, no one remembers that right now because obviously we think about the more recent things of the test match, but that knock was brilliant. Any standout moments for you, Akshay, in this Oval Test from an Indian POV first?
For me, for some reason, it's last night. Last night, the way the day ended, the day's play, because there was clearly light and there was clearly a game to be played. Unfortunately, capitalism took precedence. You could see there were a lot of off-field reasons for it, and I'm not even talking about the fact that it was going to favor England. Make no mistake, I don't think the game was pushed to day 5 to favor England. It had completely different reasons, according to me. Probably this also played a part. And of course, there were a lot of jokes and memes made about Lee Fortis and the whole saga that happened before the game began. But today morning, just like Harry Brook mentioned in the post-match presentation as well, with the heavy roller and the effect that it would have, the batters sort of became a bit too complacent. They thought, okay, you know what, the surface won't do much, so let's just go about our business, get the runs, knock them down. And that complacency might have played a role there, but I guess certain things are, the certain intangibles that we cannot talk, we cannot describe. Like we become like Siraj. We are at loss of words. We don't know how to put it because the attitude, just the sheer desire, the motivation, just that certain times those things take over you. And as sports persons, they themselves wouldn't know how to explain it. So which is why I wouldn't sort of try and be daft enough to go about explaining it. But yeah, certain days you just have to see these things in action and you realize something special is going on. That's it.
Yeah, I mean, good point made by you. And there's some great points coming through the comments. Please comment and like and share this video because look, India have done something special. England haven't won a test series against India since 2018. So it's a long time ago that they spanked us then. And since the turn of the decade, India have been brilliant to say the least. Good points mentioned, like I said, by Soumitra Bratta Sahu this Monday evening. Wherever you're joining us from, kudos to you, man. And if you're an Indian fan, like this video, please. We will take any of your questions we missed in the 12th man segment. Let me just give you a little interlude of what we can expect later on in the best of the rest. Is, of course, Akshay's quiz and, of course, plenty of other pointers. But it's going to be a short show in terms of 9:20. We'll try to wrap proceedings up. Bumrah has been on losing side for quite a few tests. Now, it's crazy how before the series started, Knicks, everyone's pinning their hopes on Bumrah. Bumrah gets us the one draw in Manchester where he wasn't probably bowling his best as well. And it was the other sort of efforts that we were kind of looking upon. So in hindsight, now that the dust is probably going to settle soon, 25 days of high-octane test match action, who do you think is your one unsung hero that, apart from, you can name Siraj, you can name Gill, you can name whoever, but who do you think really kind of made India kind of just literally never give up?
Again, I think it would be difficult to put it as that guy was the guy that India found a way to never give up. But I think the one guy we should be lot talking about is Washington Sundar, because I think it was a selection that had all of us in splits. But again, none of us were in the position of doubting him. It was how they used Washington Sundar, the player, the bowler, that is, and that was our only point of concern. And I still can't forget that I legit saw Washington Sundar hit sixes with the tail, and it is going to stay with me for a long time because I was watching the game with a few people around at a different location, and we're all cheering for every six because we expect every ball to lead to a wicket. But then I think Sundar, right through the series, whether it is Lords or the way he batted so well with Jadeja as well in Manchester to earn you the draw. He's played a massive load on that. It's a role that we've been asking of Shardul Thakur, Anshul Kamboj, and who not. So I think Washington Sundar is the one name. And Siraj, bro, I told Siraj will be the highest wicket taker for India in this series. So please, cheers.
We'll come on to Siraj in a bit because my producers pulled out some stats just to show off how well Siraj is not just bowled, but been a part of things in terms of Test match cricket and the workload he's at. So that's just coming up in a couple of minutes. Akshay, similar question to you. From an Indian POV, bro, like we look back at the series, Gill's got amazing runs. He's like a Bradman-esque sort of series. Jaiswal, again, that 118 kind of covers up for the last two tests where he was kind of just in a weird zone. But again, 100 in a win, great signs moving ahead. Rishabh Pant, before his injury, just looks so good. The test Pant that we expect. Obviously, there were question marks about the few other people in the team, but nonetheless, 6-7 clear winners from this tour for Team India.
100%. And to be honest, that was one of the reasons why I was so excited for the series, because there were so many questions that we were looking answers to, throughout the series, be it our middle order, be it some of our bowling options, be it our all-rounders. And I think we've seen a few front runners, so to say, at the end of the series. We now know who we would be seeing come the home series against West Indies in November. And to be honest, another name that I'll have to throw out there, Dhruv Jurel. I really like what I've seen of him. And to be honest, I'll be repeating myself because I was of the opinion even before the series began that I wouldn't be counting him out entirely in that whole Dhruv Jurel versus Karun Nair debate. And again, this is no disrespect to Karun himself. It's just that we are keeping the long term, in our focus. That's the only reason. Karun Nair, unfortunately, is not getting any younger. Dhruv Jurel also offers that keeping option, and we saw his keeping abilities also come to the fore across 2 or 3 games. And now with Rishabh Pant grappling with injury, I think going forward, we might potentially see Rishabh Pant also transition into a pure batter for us in Test cricket, with Dhruv Jurel potentially becoming that keeper bat option for us in the middle order. Washi, of course, is batting with the tail, and Dhruv's own batting with the tail, something we've spoken about earlier as well. That maturity that these two blokes have shown, very, very, very impressed with it, very happy for them. Sai, at times, again, he's shown the temperament that he has, but KL Rahul, I don't think we need to talk about it. Yeah, the series that even I wouldn't have imagined in the wildest of dreams him having such a good series. He became only the second opener in this millennium and the first after Graeme Smith and his historic series in 2003 to score over 500 runs as an opener. That speaks volumes about the kind of series we're talking about. This guy's had 530 runs in 10 innings, an average of 53. Oh man, brilliant stuff. More than the runs itself, of course, we are happy that he scored runs, but we all know what the role of a top order batter is. In this day of white ball cricket, we've sort of completely lost sight of what exactly are we expecting from our top order. It's now become baz ball, just score runs for fun, score bounties and all of it. But it's equally important for them to be able to blunt the new ball out, to ensure that the incoming middle order batters also do not have to face the brunt of it. And that's where KL Rahul, brilliant stuff. Just the way he went about his business. Sure, there were a couple of soft dismissals, but very, very, very happy for him and happy with him.
I was actually going to allude to that. A quick one from you in terms of the Karnataka boys, Karan, Prasid, and KL. How would you just sum up their toes? We could very well clip this out as well. Prasid and Karan had a decentish last game in the Oval, 51st innings. Karan, I mean,
smartly sneaked in Karun like with Prasid there. Ekdam smart, very smart.
I mean, essentially, he's coming back to Karnataka as well, to be fair, Karan. So that's why I just wanted a quick one from Akshay, because there was so much talk before on MNL, before the series started, and how our boys would fare. KL, like you said, I completely agree with you, just showed his true class in terms of the poise and what it takes to be a test match opener. Prasid and Karan, I don't know how you're going to rate them on 10. I mean, the floor is yours. I would probably give them just a 4 on 10, a 5 on 10. And I love them to bits, but that's coming from me. So what about you?
Prasid, I've been thoroughly disappointed, to be honest. And the reason why I'm also even more disappointed is because I had very low expectations to begin with. I had always felt that these conditions, unlike what others had to say, weren't made for him. Prasid is not known for his ability to move the ball or maximize conditions on offer and all of it. He's more of a hit the deck bowler, extract what's on the surface or what's in the surface and not the conditions, not movement or breeze and all of it. He's not been a guy who gets lateral movement, to put it very simply. Which is why I wasn't very big on him starting. In fact, if you guys remember, I had Akash Deep over him, of course, for various reasons that did not pan out. And then for him to not even manage those bare minimum expectations that I had as a fan. That's what disappointed me even more, because there was just the sheer lack of consistency. I don't know if it was a problem or an issue with usage. I mean, with execution, or was it a problem of usage where he wasn't being used properly, or was it a problem of this lack of clarity where there weren't enough plans being constructed, or they weren't communicated to him properly? I don't know what it is, but irrespective, for him to be so inconsistent was very, very, very disappointing, because he's been touted as the next big thing for Team India in red ball cricket for a while now. So it's important that he now makes that leap and sort of stakes a claim for it. Right now, that doesn't seem to be the case. We've seen Akash Deep move ahead already with just a couple of tests in the series. So that's what I was expecting off of him. With Karun, I guess I'll be a bit less harsh. I do think there were a couple of dismissals, like Joe Root's that blinded of a catch, a tad bit unfortunate there. The 50 was very good, and apart from that, the 30, I want to say, at Lords, that was also, not Lords, sorry, that was Edgbaston, if I'm not wrong. I felt that was also slightly more underrated, where he batted a fair few deliveries. Sure, we might argue that there weren't enough runs scored, but given the situation that we were in, I felt that innings was not too bad at all from him. So I think he showed enough temperament, but yeah, like I said earlier, he's not getting any younger at 34, 35. So has he done enough to retain his position? I highly doubt.
Okay, interesting. Let's move away to, of course, one player I want to talk about. I think we'll definitely look at this and series as a whole and go probably think of how he can improve as a bowler. And I'm talking about Akash Deep next. And back me up here. Do you think this series has cemented his place as India's third test pacer in test? You clearly have Bumrah, then Siraj just kind of cemented that second spot further. And then is Akash Deep now someone who's given you enough conviction? Because what he's done in the series, 13 wickets, fair, but high impact with the ball, especially in a couple of tests.
Well, I hope no matter what I do, I hope the team knows, because I have found the pacer selection very puzzling right through the series, and I just hope it is very clear in their sense as well in terms of how they want to use them. I know all of us heard Gill asking him कि induction लिया क्या. I do not want to hear this at all from an Indian captain to an Indian bowler, especially after the Australia series. Every bowler is important. We've already had him break down twice, and it's a very short career already. So you're saying you have a second pacer who is more like a third pacer, but your third pacer is breaking down twice in a span of few series. It's not a good sign. So you'll have to manage them far better than what you're doing right now. So I think he has the potential to be your new ball bowler, because clearly Bumrah struggles with the new ball, right? So he can be the first change there in that sense. So I think the option is not wrong. All I want is clarity, and clarity of thought in terms of who they are going to have. Because we have to remember, had those 4 wickets not been taken, all of this would have been the highest point of concern for every Indian cricket fan, that do we know who our next set of fast bowlers are and what are going to be their skills. As Akshay said, I'm fine with Prasid's selection. I'm fine with NKR Shardul's selection. Do you know what is their best role? If yes, then the selection is justified. If no, and if you feel we'll figure it out on the ground, bhai, that is too much risk to take for a test cricket game, which can expose you over a period of time. So, high hopes from Akash Deep, but want him to be fit and want the communication to be very clear from the management to the bowler. You are our pacer, take care of yourself, and we'll take care of you.
Yeah, I mean, we normally kind of conjure up in our minds what the pecking order is in terms of Test cricket for every subtlety over there. But I think this one is definitely something that we'll think about going forward. Some great comments coming through. What a wonderful series. It's been a roller coaster, saying Syed. Dhruv may be good, but feels like he's lost sometimes. Isn't very quick in his mind, many especially after that woke Sana. Everyone's got to jump onto that one bit. Why he wasn't wearing that one glove, so that Gus Atkin can just could sneak a bite through. We always talk about India's collapses, but this last test in both innings, England collapsed. Yeah, England's collapse. We spoke about it. No other test match we've seen aside collapse in a chase of 300 plus, with having 6 wickets and 50 runs less in their target. Some good questions, which we'll definitely take. I think there's one from Ajit Padal for Nikhil on KL. There's one, I think, from Sanjay about Bethel and Akshay. And there's, of course, one also just generally Moni Morkel is bowling coach. So we'll tuck into all of that in the 12th man for sure. And I just want to move on to the next topic that we want to talk about, but sticking to this Test series, and where does it rank? Because in my mind, when I was kind of churning out the show flow, Akshay, I was thinking, does this actually stand? Yes, it stands the test of time, but does it really go into the realms of the 2001 India Australia series, the 2021 India Australia series, the 2005 Ashes, right? So we can all kind of have a subjective say that. Now, what's your feel? I mean, 2-2, the series ended. It's been a run filled one, crazy amount of runs. Did you like it? A, and B, do you put it in your top 5, top 3 series ever?
So firstly, let me just put out a disclaimer. I'll be ranking it based on all the games that I've seen. So 2001, I've not seen. I've seen highlights of it, but it's very hard for me to contextualize what it meant for them. I've heard many accounts of what it meant, of course, but having not felt it, having not been through it, I don't think I'll be the right person to describe it. Firstly, that. Secondly, all of mine would basically be post 2006-7, whatever I've seen. So 2005 Ashes also goes out of the window. This definitely ranks in my top 5. I would probably have it in my top 3. Maybe it goes at number 4 for me. First has to be 2021. Nothing will ever beat that. Second will be England 21-22 itself, because that series, once again, given everything that was happening off the field, we all remember the whole captaincy saga, IPL in between, team owners having the same selection and wanting the players back. There were so many things going on back then as well. And moments like 60 overs of hell, the Bumrah-Shami partnership, and yeah, some of the bowling efforts there. Umesh Yadav also comes to mind. So that definitely would be number 2 for me. Number 3, I don't know, man. There's 2009 New Zealand for me, because I just remember enjoying the moment then. First ever series went for India. And as a kid, through commentators, I could understand the seriousness of it. 2006 also comes very close, because Rahul Dravid, I was a very big fan of him, and him captaining India and South Africa and getting that win. I want to say in Joburg. Was it Joburg or Cape Town? It was Joburg, I want to say. But yeah, so given that, I would probably have that too somewhere there. But yeah, this is definitely in the top 5 for sure. So this would be my top 5. First 2 fixed, the other 3 no specific order. I'll have 2009, 2006, and this one. All of them away home series. Unfortunately, none of them have really hit that home. Maybe 2017 comes close, but even then, away wins are away wins.
Sorry, so just to reiterate, your top 5 best test series.
All away. I'm talking about away only. So yeah, it's 2021 Australia. I mean BGT. 2021 India Tour of England second. 3, 4, 5 in no specific order would be India Tour of New Zealand 2009, India Tour of South Africa 2006, and this one. No specific order. Those 3 in any of this thing.
Okay, and you go for all away and all India pretty much, right?
Yeah. Oh, 2007 is a great shout, yaar. DK Jafar, man.
Before I get to Knicks,
Yeah.
before I get to Knicks, I'll just come back to Knicks, because let Knicks think about it. If I throw in Ashes 2005, Ashes 2023, which we saw recently, where does that stand compared to this series? Do you think you place that higher or lower? Akshay?
Oh, wait, I thought you said Knicks. Okay, my bad. For me, yeah, Ashes 2005 I won't consider. Ashes 2023, having covered it closely as well, it hits different, right? You're watching it as a neutral. Here you are invested. You've got skin in the game. There's a side you support. So invariably, I would be a lot more, biased towards India tours and India games. So that's mainly the reason. Or else the Ashes 2023 was also equally well contested. Ashes 2019 as well, for that matter, the Headingley win and all of it. But I'll have the India games above, and that's got it only with my own biases. I'm not saying objectively this series was better, that series was better. As a Team India fan, which is something I don't get to say often, Team India games will definitely rank above neutral games.
Okay, interesting choices from Akshay. Like the 2009 one over there, and of course the 2006 to South Africa. Knicks, how does your list look like in terms of best test series?
I think it's very subjective, so let's get that out of the way. Okay, people are going to remember different things for different reasons.
100%.
I think the top 2.
I mean, if you wait for mine, it'll be crazy subjective. So go ahead, you can be all out here.
Yeah, and again, sometimes you'll feel some series are more important at different times of the recording in videos. So I still feel 2005 Ashes was a series where I always felt कि हाँ ऐसा एक series होना चाहिए. And I think I have got an answer to that in the 2025 India-England series, because you cannot have a series that was, because there were still big wins, but there were still both teams in the contest in this series in every single test match. And I think it happens very, very rarely that you have 25 days of hard-fought cricket where only a few days it is very clear that who's winning. So to me, this would definitely be in one of my top two, and of course, and the rest follows suit because nothing can beat the Gawa series. It's crazy hell because of the events that happen, and then I would get the India England series that Akshay mentioned, and the fifth one would be the 2001 one because you, मतलब थोड़ा बहुत ही देखा for our age and our following, but for the sheer magnitude of the events that happened in that game, I think it is unheard of in our cricket circles. Ke, to bat out so much and then go on to win the match, it is unbelievable. So that is how I would put it at this point of time.
Okay, super. I like the factor of unpredictability because this series, like you rightly said, there were so many sessions where you just couldn't call it, and it went that way throughout from game 1 to game 5. It was just brilliant. My 5 test series of all time, probably want to throw in some random shouts in there. In terms of just viewing, again, like the word Nick's used, subjective. India Pakistan for me, I think when we kind of beat them there, played them and taught them after so long. There was Dravid's 270, Sehwag, of course, a brilliant triple ton and Multan. So I think that series stands tall for me. I would also kind of throw in the 2001 Test series because growing up as a 9-year-old boy, tuning into DD every morning and listening to Maninder Singh on commentary and Arun Lal, it was crazy. And that's Steve Watt team. So I just think I put that over there. Then the 2021 BGT, I think because we didn't have so many first team members, the amount of crazy stories to emerge from that particular series. And we spoke about Bharat and his tales about it. So that is there in as well. I would say the Ashes 2005 as well for me. I think that growing up playing the video game simultaneously in that era, it just made me feel so part of it, even though I was a neutral. And from a non-India point of view, even though India played it, there was one which I particularly stayed up missing all my math exams for, I think in the 4th grade or 5th grade. West Indies versus India 2002 series. We lost that series 2-1, but I just think we saw some crazy things happen in that series. From Sachin doing things that only Sachin does, Dravid's fortitude, Zahir Khan bowling left arm spin. We saw it all in that series. So subjective. Correct. Kumble with the broken jaw. Lara was there. He was not in the prime of forms, but Chandrapal absolutely stamped his authority in that series, and Sawan and Hooper too. So look, we'll just take a couple of comments to see where we stand. Yeah. Go on, next.
Yeah, just two more additions. I think the 2007 one is something that Akshay mentioned. I would definitely have one very honorable mention in the 2017 BJT because the whole one was very, very. I mean, for a guy to bat all day, I am a sucker for people batting all day because I just find it very fun. I would actually, honest, if you ask for special performances, then I think there is a blockathon that South Africa did in Australia, in India. Those are all the things that come to my mind.
But South Africa, both 8 and 12, both towards South Africa towards Australia.
Exactly. So some very good series that way. Even the England tour of South Africa, if you put it that way, where South Africa beat England, that was a crazy one with Smith doing Smith things. So that, but yeah, 2017 BJT, KL Rahul FC, bro. Sorry. Thanks.
No, very good shots. Absolutely brilliant shots. Another one which goes under the radar, Akshay, maybe Kohli's first away test series to Sri Lanka, where I think we won 2-1 there. I mean, it was just dominated with spin. But do you remember that one?
I was thinking of it. In fact, funnily enough, I was thinking of that and the 2010 series because I'd watched both of them very keenly. 2010, I remember because that was when Raina had made his debut and it looked like a very strong Indian side that could do well over there. But Sri Lanka, of course, I mean, that Sri Lankan side was something else. So that was also very fun to watch. But 2015-16 for sure. Good shout there too.
Yeah, some good shots coming in from the comments. If you guys are just joining us, please hit like and tell a friend about Monday Night Live. We're literally 9 runs, dare I say, or podcasts away from 100 of these, and we've been giving you all of it on every Monday of our lives. In this series, India have scored 3,740 runs, the highest than any other series in their lifetime. Thank you for that stat. And Howzzaat Patil, let's get into some of the guys from the comments and where they're ranking it. I won't rank it Kuch high because we've made wrong calls and irrespective we have drawn. Fair. But look, this is the question that we just want to ask you all. Random comments coming from Santosh Urapar, Introspect, which you'll take. And Cricket Adda joining us from Twitter. Good shout from you saying, I will rate it above the 2005 Ashes, but below the 2001 India-Australia series. There was kind of expected. here's a young team with selection issues, injuries, captain, so on and so forth. No much highs. We made many wrong selections saying Ajit Pal. Series got tough because we made mistakes. Fair enough. Freaking awesome saying 2018 series win in Australia was more special as it was India's first test series victory in Australia. And there was another one coming in terms of Dhruv and his opinion. This is definitely the best series I've seen in my entire life, just for the sheer fact that every test match went to the fifth day, not knowing who will win was just captivating. Look, keep your comments coming through. Absolutely delighted to chat with you all, make it as interactive as possible. Finally, just to end this India-England chat, because we've spoken about it for various podcasts right now, we're going to miss it. But if you guys are missing us on Instagram, don't worry. There are stats like this for you. It's India's narrowest win, remember, in their test history. And hence the title of this YouTube podcast suggests that as well. More stat data digest piece on our social media. So go check that out. Right. Finally, boys, just to culminate this chat, favorite moments of the series. You can name 1, 2, 3 on the field, off the field. Let's give 3 each. And randomly, which it could be a celebration, it could be a knock, it could be a quote. The floor is yours. Akshay, I'll start with you. Favorite moment of the Anderson Tendulkar 2025 trophy?
Let's do one each. That will be fun. Let's do one each first.
Let's do one each.
Okay. Oh man, this is going to be so difficult. You know what? I'll start off with a very personal one. I saw Sai Sudarshan make his maiden Test 50 live, so that was definitely a moment for me to savor because I was there and I was really hoping for him to come with. So I would say that would be one of my favorite moments.
Nikhil?
Mine would be the non-handshake. Loved it to bits. हाथ मिलाएगा नहीं, bowling कर जा. जिसको bowling करना है bowling. Non-handshake for me, hands down.
Okay, and for me, it has to be, I'm sorry, Grossum in balls, man. Honestly, for Shubman Gill to pull that one out, and the way he said it, whether we use a Virat Kohli and helium saying it, it just meant that the new gen is here, and he did it at the home of cricket, which is brilliant. So, look, those are our moments. Let me know what your moments are in the chat. Grossum Ball saying Panchayat saying that time for split
more than
coaching.
the words itself, it was the description. Doing this
just in case you had any doubt what he meant, he will tell you everything.
That is true. Sports fan saying Siraj doing the celebration, remembering Ramthorpe, yeah, classy from him. And I think Alan James referring to one of the stump mic combos saying Ek taraf Mohammed, dusri taraf Krishna will go down in the folklore. Such as so many things, yeah, which has gone down in cricket and folklore. It happened today as well. So let us know your thoughts and moments off the field, on the field. If you guys like the groundsman gate, if you like punt celebration, if you like anything, tell us because it's been a fascinating series indeed. Let's move on then because there's plenty of things to talk about. But before we have to, of course, just have an appreciation club of 2 minutes for Mohammad Siraj because we've been talking about how good he's been. We've been, of course, praising him till the moon and back, and rightly so, because it's not easy, like Akshay said at the top of the show, to bowl so many overs. And it just means that mutton paya and shadab biryani in Hyderabad is way better than any beef roast out there for all the UK bowlers digging in. It shows the real test of the man. Just joking. But boys, I want to ask you really quickly, the workload, because that's one word I think which will be always integrated with Siraj, especially in the longest format. He's bowled 500 overs exactly since 2024 after this test. And you look at some of the other names there, just to give you comparison in terms of, again, the miles he's clocked, so on and so forth. And he's just been an absolute champion. There was one more which we put out as a creative. You look at, of course, him capturing fifers, and he's done it always in a winning cause, just that one time in a match which was drawn. But look, coming back to the question, Akshay, Siraj, man, I mean, is he now really firmly behind Bumrah as India's second best pacer across formats? Talk to me.
I would say yes. And I don't think in my head, personally speaking, I don't think it was much of a debate. I get why others weren't too keen on him. There were reasons for that too. But I always felt that Siraj had at least in my eyes, done enough to be the second pacer. But with this series, I think he's answered all critics. So again, best way to answer is through your performances. He's done that. So I don't see any more debates rising, at least in red ball cricket to begin with. With white ball, I don't know, man. Like at the end of the day, we also need to understand that we talk about not wanting all format batters, and here we're talking about wanting an all format bowler. It's not easy in this day and age. Gone are the days where you would play a test series, then 6 months of rest, then play another test series. Here, there's no rest. Here, he's got an Asia Cup starting next month. Once the Asia Cup ends, you've got your home season beginning with the West Indies test, the South Africa test. Then you play 15 T20s versus New Zealand, South Africa, Australia. Then there's the T20 World Cup. Then there's the IPL. Saans kab lega bhai? So, personally speaking, just for his own sake, I think it's important that they don't make him an all-format bowler. And I think we've got enough white ball options any which ways. So let him take some rest there. He can be our premier second bowler behind Bumrah when it comes to red ball cricket. White ball cricket, when he thinks he's fit enough to give in his 100%, sure, pick him. Or else we've got plenty of other options waiting in the wings, man. So we can use someone else over there. But all in all, yeah, he's done enough. Like if he's fit and raring to go, he can be my all-format second bowler behind Bumrah for sure.
I mean, it's crazy what he also told Dinesh Karthik and Michael Atherton in terms of just waking up this morning, thinking about the word belief with a Google picture and that kind of inspiring him. And he's just that kind of character where he'll just put everything for his team. Next, my question to you about Siraj is the 185.3 overs that he's bowled this series, the 1,113 balls that he's bowled in series. Will that be remembered now in Indian minds in terms of, okay, fine, this guy is a trier, he's a workhorse. But now can we actually give him more credit than we've always kind of limited ourselves with? Is this the series now, which is the making of Siraj for you?
Yeah, I would genuinely hope so. I think I said this before as well. I think two people in this team are very similar in terms of how the world looks at them and what they bring to the table. And again, this is not a false comparison. One is KL with the bat and Siraj with the ball. They both do whatever is asked of them. Sometimes not as much as we wanted to, but always to the best of their ability. Sometimes it may not be enough, but you can never fault at least Siraj. So let's just talk about Siraj right now. He played all the 5 games and he bowled at 140 clicks every single time that he could. And that in itself is something to be absolutely respect worthy, that you have someone who can do that. So now the next step for him is to not take it for granted, because I think we have already taken him for granted. Siraj hai bhai. You will give him the ball, he'll do it. You give him a 25-over ball, a 45-over ball, he'll be there bowling short balls, bowling this, bowling that. It should not happen. It's not a good thing. It should not be celebrated. What you have to now do is ensure as much take care you took of Bumrah, start taking care of Siraj, give him enough time off the game so that he gets better at starting. Imagine he's always been a very good semi-new ball bowler. If he gets his new ball bowling spot on in red ball cricket, dude, we could have a very, very good second ball bowler. So there is still time to go, but this is as good as he could have had in terms of series. And I kept saying he was unlucky in this series. 283 is the number I'll live with for all my life in terms of most fall shots for any bowler in this series. And that tells you how full-heartedly he tried. And sometimes those numbers will not reflect how well you've bowled, but you know it. So I just hope Siraj can take this confidence forward and India do not run him into the ground. You can win with 3 bowlers, but you can't win every game with 3 bowlers. So I just hope India are very smart, because we have already burnt Bumrah a bit. Please don't burn Siraj, and there is no need to go to him, as Akshay said, in other formats. Prioritize. Focus on Siraj, find his best suit, and then just back him to the hilt in that format.
Yeah, good points from both of you all there. I mean, Dhruv also kind of arguing, and rightly so, in the chat. Why do we say that he's the second best behind Bumrah? What does that even mean? I mean, sometimes we do get player comparisons out of the window, right? And sometimes it is silly, and I agree with your point, Dhruv, because sometimes even if you look at the test trios or the pace quartets of the past, they all have different strengths which kind of complement each other. And the partnership we've seen of Bumrah and Shami and of course Ishant and Umesh back in the day, and now there's maybe a new pace battery developing. So look, good to catch me out with regards to that. Syed Nizamuddin is constantly keep asking us, Test cricket is the greatest sport man has ever invented. I think it is, man. There's a beautiful little tweet I read the other day that Test cricket is aesthetically, morally, spiritually, something. superior to every other sport, which is brilliant. Red Devil saying from football believed in availability is the best ability has sent Siraj the best. I mean, Siraj is probably talking to all the United players, and hence he got that extra energy to say that. Siraj has replicated Ishant Sharma's ability to be a workhorse. What he needs to be a great bowler, pick wickets in subcontinent. And yeah, good points mentioned from all of you guys over there. Look, we'll talk about all your questions as well in the time to come, especially in the 12th man segment. And there's a great one in terms of the Akshay's quiz today and how's that. So don't worry about it. Bolly Music King, please wait for the 12th man segment. We will, of course, take this in the show later. Right, let's move on to best of the rest then, because there's so many things to talk about, including Rofton Chase being apparently retired hurt, or retired out, I should say. And we've not seen that too often in T20 internationals. We'll also talk about what MS Dhoni said about CSK and the upcoming auction. We'll also maybe have time for a few other things. There's very few international games going on at the minute in terms of the men's scheme of things. So let's talk about the one which is happening in the West Indies next. Pakistan, West Indies, 3 games done. Pakistan 2-1 in a T20 international series lead there. But the biggest news to come out of it has been Rofton Chase apparently becoming the first player to be retired out in a full members game. Let me get that right, because we've seen it before apparently with Namibia's Nicholas Davey, who got retired out in the World Cup 2 years ago. So what can you tell me about that and the series at large?
Nothing, that I had to just catch highlights because it was too early in that time of the day. And Chase is someone I have always felt I had a soft corner for, but it's fine, and it is good thing that it's starting to become a normal thing. I know it is a first, but he was already retired out earlier this year as well in the ILT20 as well, if I'm not wrong. So he's doing this as a habit. So don't do it in a way that people look at, oh, he's the guy who retired out, but no. But it's a good thing that teams are starting to be very open to the idea that it's okay to retire out someone because you are effectively wasting your resource. And he's ensured the numbers are also something that I'll remember for my life because it's 12/15, my birth date. So Chase, that is a good way to pay tribute to me. But I'm happy that more and more people are happy to retire out for the team's sake because that's how it should be.
I kept thinking this series actually is just a 5-match T20 series, but it isn't. Pakistan have won their series 2-1, and now they actually go to the West Indies to play the ODI series. This leg was happening in Miami in Lauderhill. So let's see how that all goes through there. West Indies have been woeful in terms of the shortest format, and I want to see how they kind of pick and choose their team building up to that T20 World Cup going forward. Please, saying Bolly Music King in the comments. I don't know why. And West Indies will beat Pakistan in ODIs, reckons Introspect. Freaking awesome, saying West Indies never won a T20 international series against Pakistan, even at home, even neutral venues. Their record against Pakistan isn't good at all. And Roston Chase is the first to be retired out in a T20. Second, I mentioned that other Namibian batter, but yeah, he was what? 12 or 15 or 15 or 12, something like that, and he got retired out. More things to talk about from an international realm. Zimbabwe, New Zealand are playing a test series, but that doesn't really kind of fall under the WTC ambit. So the big story from there is not the fact that New Zealand actually crushed them in the first test in Bulawayo, but apparently, Akshay, Brendan Taylor returns after 3.5 years. Now, this is the guy who got caught for failing a dope test, or literally kind of got put placed by the anti-doping measures with the ICC. I think he also kind of accepted that there were Indian businessmen approaching him to fix a game or two. Now he's been in the cold, he's taken his medicine, he comes back. Do you think this could be, I don't know, a story for even others to pay notice to? Because there are going to be characters like this in the game. Now he gets his chance again.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see any fault as such. Firstly, to be clear, he wasn't caught fixing games. He went ahead and spoke. I mean, spoke as in he informed the ICC and the Anti-Corruption Bureau of being, approached by fixers. Firstly, that. And secondly, about the doping thing. See, man, when you're playing any sport at the highest level, to be honest, we don't know what they're going through. So I'm not going to fault anyone, and I'm not going to sit here and talk about all of these things. Happy that he's paid his due, and now that he's done with it, he is back. So it does set the right precedent that even if you err, that there are ways of coming back. There are pathways, provided you, again, like Brendan Taylor or even Kakhi Surapada and other players who've sort of erred in the past when it comes to things like these. You have to pay the price for it and then come back and yeah, that's how you go about it. But I guess now it's a bit too late in the sense that he's already old. If I'm not wrong, he's what, 40, 39, 40. So I don't know how much time does he have left, how much fuel, how much cricket is left in him. And with the amount of cricket that Zimbabwe is scheduled to play in the next 12 to 18 months, I don't know if this is the right approach in all fairness, because you've got so many youngsters who've just been brought in. Personally, I would have liked it if these youngsters just were given more game time against some of the top flight nations. But apart from that, yeah, happy to see him back on the field.
It's been a very important phase of cricket for Zimbabwe because they played that one-off test against England and they had South Africa at home where Rian Mulder scored that incredible feat up there. So, Nix, it just makes you think about how the second test match is going to happen. That starts in a couple of days. Anything just to observe from a cricket fan POV that you've seen in the first test? Because Conway got runs, Mitchell was good. I think Muzarabani also kind of, again, just cemented why he's probably one of the best bowlers in Zimbabwe right now. Any other takeaways from that test in Bulawayo?
No, I would hope Rajin gets some runs. I think he's someone I really want to see in red ball cricket, how he goes about it. So he's someone that I'm looking forward to. Brian Bennett, I expected a few more things. He's had a good time of sorts across formats in that sense. So he's someone that I'm looking forward to. Sean Williams is another guy who didn't do. And again, see, it's very harsh to expect them to always turn up and do things for their nation, because Williams had a good knock against the previous team, but that it can't happen that he'll do it again. So who is that next batch of people that will do? Whether it is Ben Curran, Nick Welch, whoever it is. So hopefully something bigger from one of those guys so that Zimbabwe find a way. No, now we have few more guys that the world will be used to. And it's not just Sean Williams, Sikandar Raza and Ryan Bell and all of us across formats will do the job. So let's see how they put up, because I think New Zealand will look too strong. Maybe Brendan Taylor can also add some more teeth to that batting.
Indeed. Let's see. Let's talk about another African team right now, which is South Africa. They're going to go play a white ball series in Australia and some incredible venues like Freaking Awesome also alludes to over here. They're playing, I think, in Darwin, Cairns. They go to Mackay as well. The squads came out earlier the week. I think Travis Head returns, Hazelwood returns as well. And I think Bavuma will return as captain for South Africa, which is good to see. It's still no Stark and Cummins in this one. Nick, what are you expecting in this particular series? Sure, both teams always have an eye for the future, i.e. the 2026 T20 World Cup and then the 2027 ODI World Cup. Are we going to get any sort of takeaways from this one?
We should. I think we should. I mean, everybody's excited to see how Brevis and Luanda Pretorius go in that T20 squad. And I think South Africa were very happy to experiment in that tri-series that they played. And they had a lot of positives also in that series. So I'm keen to see how do they build on that, because now they have more options available to them in terms of their full strength squad. So how do they go about that? And Stubbs, Brevis, Pretorius, these are always people that you would want to see, especially in Australia. So that is from the T20I lens. From the ODI lens as well, I feel South Africa's bowling is something that I always find very, can't get the right word, that I always find that they're very under appreciated, or they don't do as much I expect them to. So I'm keen to see, because these are different venues. I'm very keen to see how do they go. They have Berger, they have Bosch, they have Muthuswamy, Lungi and Giri. Now, kya hoega is attack ke saath? I'm not quite sure. So looking forward to that series, hopefully on spicy decks. So that should be fun.
3 T20 internationals and 3 ODIs from the 10th of August to the 24th of August. Go check it out. Akshay, one question about Australia to you, because obviously since Smith and Maxwell have retired from ODIs, it begs the question who can take their space in the 50-over format. Maybe Green will slot back in because he's in the squad. What about Mitch Owen, bro? I mean, we've been hearing his little cameos. Obviously, he's claimed to fame in the BBL and stuff. Have you read a little bit more about him? Is he kind of just giving you some sort of, I don't know, X factor, even though you're neutral?
he's definitely one to watch out for. In fact, he made all the right noises in the last BBL season. In fact, our colleagues who are big on Australian cricket, they were very, very, very big on Mitch Owen as well. In fact, when he was signed as a replacement by the Punjab Kings as well, a lot was expected off of him that way. So 100% he will be given a chance or two, if not more. Is Cooper Conley a part of the series, by the way, the T20Is? He's another name that I've been wanting to see. Unfortunately, hasn't gotten a lot of opportunities just because of the makeup of the squad and how they've gone about it. If he's there, then he's another name that I'm really looking forward to, and I'm hoping that he has a good BBL this time around at least, so that he can once again be back in the reckoning. Because Nikhil Bhai clearly suggested that
He's not there.
yeah. So
Yeah, he's not there in the squad. So basically, the squad for Australia, obviously, Marsh captain, Sean Abbott, Tim David, Ben Dwarshuis, Nathan Ellis, who you guys absolutely loved in that West Indies series, Cameron Green, Josh Hazelwood comes back for the T20 setup, as well as Travis Head, Inglis, who we of course know too well right now, the Punjab Kings, Matt Kuhneman, Maxwell there, Mitch Owen, Matt Short, and Adam Zampa. So, I mean, I understand your points about Cooper Connolly because I think even from in Indian POV, he's just been making a few ripples here and there, which we want to see if it converts into potential or not. So that's going to be something indeed. Just so Mitch Owen in the ODI squad, is he good at list A cricket? I mean, again, he is more of the T20 mold, but I think now that there is maybe a position for him in that middle order, he could get a gig and take it with both hands. Let's see how it goes through. Cricket Ada saying all squad is shaping up quite well. Destructive, Head, David, Owen, Inglis, Green. And again, let's see how it unfold in those venues. More things to talk about in the best of the rest. And we want to really quickly preview a tournament, but I'm pretty sure you guys will get your info from other proper 100 previewers on YouTube. Pardon the pun there. Akshay, I know you're doing it for the TWCP in terms of the women's side of things, but for the men's side of things, any early lookouts or teams that you're going to be thinking about? Because I was looking at it and I was like, you look at the Trent Rockets, Adam Mill, Trent Bolt, and Tim Southey are going to be playing together, which is insane. Then you look at what the Manchester Originals have in terms of Butler, Klassen, Rachin Ravindra, and the power up there. So do you have a team, jokingly, for this season at least?
Oh, I do have a team for sure. Women's wale mein to, because that's the only way I can convince myself to watch a tournament. Nahi to it becomes very difficult. So I'm rooting for the Manchester Originals in the women's 100. Brilliant bowling lineup, easily the best one. Just for the uninitiated, I'll just put that out. Sophie Eccleston, Amelia Kerr, Lauren Filer. So it's just too good there. But now, talking about the men's side, men's tournament, see, it's a very safe bet. If you don't know much about the 100, just back the Oval Invincibles. You will be in good stead. You don't need to worry too much. So, but classing to Manchester Originals, once again, a fantastic acquisition for them, considering how the Old Trafford's played last year. Old Trafford was the one venue that saw the most turn. It was also the slowest of the lot. So given all of it, and given how Klassen is known for his ability to take on spinners, along with Butler at the top, that's definitely looking like a very good lineup over there. But Oval Invincibles once again start favorites for me, and again it's a no-brainer. Like, you look at the squad, the current brothers, who I know Jax has gone out, but even then, with the kind of players they have, you can't look past any of them. Sunil Narayan, is he still with the Oval Invincibles? Unfortunately, haven't had enough time to research and go through them. But even without him, I'm pretty sure they'd be doing well.
No, I don't think there's Sunil Narayan, but they have Rashid Khan, which is absolutely imperative. They also have Will Jacks. They have the Curran brothers, like you mentioned over there. So all Invincibles, I think they're going for a three-peat, which is winning the tournament back to back to back, which is incredible. London Spirits also have a few good names, but let's see how they come to the party. Kane Williamson is captain there. There's David Warner, I think, who'd probably open the batting with them there. Trent Rockets I spoke about. Northern Superchargers, I mean, there's lots to love in terms of stories there. There's Brook as captain, but they have Rocky Flintoff, who'd probably be playing his first proper 100, I'm guessing. And then other likable names in Adil Rashid, Mitch Santner, so on and so forth. Next, you've probably gazed at the squads. What's caught your eye? And have you had a team in this tournament so far?
Too early, maybe, because of the test match and the schedule that I've had. But yeah, today and tomorrow is going to be the time where I'll spend so much figuring which one will be the one I'll lose money on. So then I'll eventually come between Oval Invincibles and maybe Birmingham Phoenix. I don't know why it could be a very Jemma because I have always found them very high variance because up they have Ben Duckett, Will Smith, Liam Livingston, Jacob Bethel, Dan Mosley. But these are some of the names that I have always loved. Bowling is getting better. You have Bolt, Milne, Chris Wood has always been good. So team Saudi we have. So I'm very interested to see how this team shapes up. If they do, so maybe one of this might be the year where it's not the Southern Brave and the Oval only. There could be a new winner, and that is always fun.
Okay, just quickly, gun to your head, fake gun that is. Who's winning the 100 this year?
Okay, see, given how this year has panned out, it's not going to be predictable. So let's get out of the way. Difficult to call. Difficult to call without having done any homework as of now. But I'll stick my head out for Birmingham Phoenix. Let's go, Jai Mata Di.
Birmingham Phoenix, love that. I would go Southern Brave in the women's and Southern Brave in the men's. Southern Brave in the women's because I think we know why I have an affiliation there. Certain bowler in the lineup.
Comments. No comments. No comments.
And then even if you look at the Southern Brave men's lineup, ex-RCB galore, Jamal Mills, who apparently joined OnlyFans, which will come to. I think Santosh Shurapa has commented over there. There's Jofra Archer, who we love, who's not played for RCB, but there's Chris Jordan, there's Reece Topley, who of course is brilliant as well. So Akshay, Southern Brave for me, and then he's gone for Birmingham Phoenix. Who are you going for? Men's 100 winner, 2025.
I need first timers. Birmingham Phoenix, good shout. I love their batting lineup. Amongst the names is also Joe Clark for what it's worth. He's also another very high variance batter that way. But since I will be stationed very close to the Old Trafford, I guess it only makes sense that I back the Manchester Originals here as well. Great acquisitions, Noor Ahmad, Rachin, Klassen, and then women's, of course, like I said, Sophie to ahi. So I'm backing them both, men's and women's. So come on, Manchester.
That'll be wild. I don't even know who will open for them. Ravindra, Salt, Butler. I mean, it could be either or, but it'll be just brilliant. And Anderson also could play. You never know with Noor Ahmad. Imagine that with all of it. So look, plenty of things that even our boys, our written team will write about the 100. So go check out cricket.com for all the latest updates, the squads and the venues, so on and so forth. We just want to end best of the rest with some IPL news. MS Dhoni was in an event speaking about his beloved Chennai Super Kings recently, and he was, I say, worried. He spoke about how they have been in a little precarious position in the last 2 years, and they want to sort those loopholes out in the upcoming auction. Nix, you're the in-house CSK fan. What is the immediate immediate concern they'll have to address as CSK in this mini auction coming up in December? Early look ahead. Who do you think they should really go and splurge the cash on? Any names?
Names, I think we'll have to wait because we don't know who will be in what form. We've seen that even in the time of the auction, that what you think in December is in what it actually transpires when the tournament actually starts in March, late in April. So I think the thing that I am very sure of that they need to address is some of their tactics right through the season, who they gave the new ball to, who they played. Asking Jadeja to bat with intent after so many years in the game is great because it always looks good, but find a better option. There are better options. Pick them, play them. With Gaikwad coming back, how do they shape that top order? They have had a great talent spotted in Ayush. How do they go with Urvil? Who is their keeper? We do not know. So there are bigger fishes to fry. Then we can figure out how to decorate and all of that.
Yeah, I mean, there was also good news for CSK fans with Gaikwad coming back from injury. I think he was supposed to play for Yorkshire. That didn't happen. He might play for the West Zone night coming up in the Dulip Trophy. Akshay, any evident names for you? Because obviously what CSK did to the fag end of that season was to show that they have a lot of young potential. Names like Nick's just mentioned right now, your Matres, your Urvil Patels, your Devol Brevises. So who's that one gun player that can go out there which will take CSK back to the glory days?
I mean, with so many rumors of trades going about, we all know the one name that apparently is being traded. Yeah, so someone's already put that in the comments. So let's wait. And also, like Nikhil Bhai said, we'll also have to wait on the releases from other sides. We don't know who's going to be released. So based on that, we'll have a much better idea of the pool that will be available, in the mini auction that will happen later this year. Firstly, that. But no, man. I mean, even outside that, it's hard to just randomly pick a name. Australia, say you've got a couple of batters here and there, but they don't necessarily suit the conditions at Chepauk. So, which is why I wouldn't probably look at them too keenly. For instance, someone like Luandre Pretorius, if he's let go of by RR, then he's someone that probably the Chennai Super Kings would also be interested in. So we'll have to wait.
Okay, interesting. You guys are having a say in the comments. Also tell us if you guys do support the CSK and how it's going to unfold for them in that December auction. Right, time to move on to the penultimate segment. Go on.
That comment that Sanjay had, if you have to have replacement players out in the public, RCB wouldn't have a captain then. So,
I love how he's just literally just thrown a quick one in there.
Talk about this season, nah. So how does it matter? It's not retrospective.
So now when other teams do it for this, it's okay.
Sanjay is not an RCB fan. Secondly, ये मैं नहीं बोल रहा, ये मतलब ये बोल रहा है. Sanjay बोल रहा है ये. हाँ.
It's when you decide. But England of
क्यों थी? वो RCB fan भी नहीं है. हम ऐसे ही बैठे यहाँ पे.
अरे तो I'm telling you, it is just how the game is. The IPL title winning captain was a replacement player. So sometimes you have to have that context in life. बाकी तो क्या है भाई?
Love it. I love the banter. I mean, this is not even scripted. That's why MNL is brilliant. Cricket Order adding to it by saying Sanju going to CSK and Rahul going to KKLV. Some news, Maza aega. I mean, that's a couple of the rumors floating about, but there's so much time from now till that auction that we'll wait a little bit. Right. So that was best of the rest. Just to finish up, what to watch this week? Plenty of things that you guys can catch in terms of cricket, Australia, South Africa, like we spoke about, Zimbabwe, New Zealand, and Brendan Taylor's return. And there's more 100 action, like we also kind of alluded to right now. Penultimate segment time of MNL, which is Howzzaat Akshay's quiz. There were some winners last week, I think, but surely there might not be any winners this time around because it's a kick-ass hard. Right, Akshay, what happened last week and what happened this week?
Let's have the graphic out first. Okay, I don't know which ones. Okay, I'm going to say this is last week's Howzzaat. There we go. Yeah, we basically had 5 series and we wanted you guys to connect the below. West Indies Tour of India, England Tour of India, India's Tour of England this year, England's Tour of India 2024, which was last year, and England's Tour of India 1963-64. So we wanted you guys to connect the following. It was almost a consequence of the Howzzaat from the week before. So that was about matches which had seen the highest tally featuring India, of course. And this time around, we are talking about the highest runs scored in a 5-match series. And Revanth Bapu got it right. So congratulations, firstly. Secondly, it also mentioned very cheekily that the order might change, and it has changed because India, I mean, with the 5th test match, this has now jumped up the ladder and it's now gone to number 1. So kudos to you on that and also getting your prediction right there. Do get in touch with us on X, and finally we'll have someone else to chat with. So next week we would love to have you on board and talk to you about a few things cricket. So congratulations there. Coming to this week's Howzzaat, yet again we've got 4 series, and yeah, I want you guys to identify what this is all about. So connect the below series. All of them are post 2000, so that's the filter. And identify what separates the highlighted one from the rest. The funda is more of a bonus question, so to say. If you get the connect itself, I'll be more than happy to have you guys as winners. So the 4 series are as follows: South Africa's Tour of West Indies 2000-2001, England's Tour of South Africa 2004-2005, England's Tour of Australia 2017-18, and India's Tour of England 2025. So only 4 series have seen something happen this millennium. I want you guys to identify what is this all about, and I want you guys to identify why is the second series different from the rest. So those are the 2 questions, and like always, folks, do not enter your answers in the live chat. Wait for the live stream to end and key your answers in the main comment section in order to remain eligible to win the contest.
Brilliant. You can absolutely connect the following over dinner, and like Akshay said, in the comments over there. Right, let's move on then to 12th man, because ultimately it's your questions which always take precedence in this segment, and let's have it. Right. The first one that I just saw, Sanju going to CSK, rumor, reality. I mean, I think it probably be reality, and I think it is going to be a move going to materialize. I feel personally there will be a tough, hard goodbye Sanju will have to have with the RR chaps, and CSK will probably then just take Sanju till the fag end of his career. That's how I see it. I don't know what the boys' two pence are. Nick's rumor or reality?
I can't say much at all. I don't see RR letting go of Sanju. He's not a small name. It's not a name that you can just let go of and be fine with. Uh, as much as we've had that association for somebody else in terms of say Gill, or maybe Gill hasn't that association, but RR ke saath Sanju has been there for a long time. So it's going to be very weird to see that happen. I hope it doesn't pan out the Ashwin way and it pans out some other way, because I can't recall the other example. So if at all Sanju is coming to CSK, good luck to all him. And I don't know what they will do with him as a keeper, as an opener. I have no idea. Let's see.
I just have a couple of things to add. Practically, I don't know how will it be possible, because for CSK to afford him, they'll have to release an equally big player or trade. So someone like a Jadeja or Gaikwad, for instance, because 18 crores is the best value. Ashwin is still less. Like Ashwin is only 9.75 compared to Sanju's 8. So given that 18 crores, so where are they going to get that money? It's not like they have a lot of purse remaining. The purse is right now at 2 crores or something. So they'll have to release a big player. So it can't be a one-way trade. It can't be an all-cash trade. So someone either has to go to RR or someone has to be let go of. So which is why it's not going to be easy. But I can see why CSK would want to try and poach Sanju, given the situation they find themselves in. They would want to keep a bat who would be with them at least in posterity. So I can see that, but it won't be easy for sure.
Maybe Ravi Jadeja. I don't know. Let's see how it goes. But I don't know. Anything can happen. One question, Akshay, that is coming through from Bolly Music King, and I say Akshay because he, of course, talks a lot about women's cricket. Serious question. We talk about man and women equal pay. Men can only play IPL. Women can play global leagues. Why? I think he's alluding to the fact that women at the 100 and no men at the 100.
No, firstly, equal pay is the international cricket, and IPL and all are franchise leagues. They're two different games. I mean, two different games as in two different employers altogether. BCCI contracts, for instance, when it comes to India, BCCI contracts players and pays them. With IPL, it's KKR, RCB, and whatever it is. So the two. So I don't understand the question. I'm assuming that if the question is about why is equal pay thing, like there are always a lot of questions about equal pay, but look at how many people watch men's cricket and how many people watch women's cricket. Firstly, equal pay is different from retainer. So the BCCI also issues contracts every year. There's grade A, grade B, grade C, grade D. The tiers are massively different. You can see that in their paychecks as well. One is 10 crores, the other might be at about 1 crore, and that reflects in the kind of audience they are catering to. Equal pay is all about the effort. Like, for instance, Virat Kohli and Smriti Mandhana or Harmanpreet Kaur put in the same amount of effort to play the game. And that's what equal pay focuses on. It's about their input to the game. So that's a different thing. And that's only about match fee. Match fee is like 5 to 10% of their overall income from from whatever they do. So it doesn't really matter. It's a drop in the ocean. So I hope I answered that.
Okay, good question. We had one earlier from Ajit Padal 123 asking Nikhil, do you feel KL has very high class skills but gets out to innocuous balls, and he is going for runs when there's tough conditions? He's never going for runs, beg your pardon, when there's tough conditions. Do you agree? What's your take?
I agree on the fact that he has very high skills. I don't agree that he gets out to innocuous ball. It may look innocuous because he's done the hard work, but every ball is as, if you go by maths, probability utna hi hai of every ball of him dismissing. So that doesn't change. So events leading up to it can be a problem for KL. I think there was a time where you would feel that he would not go for runs when it was a tough situation. But if you saw the England series, I do not think there is any doubt about him not knowing what his game is. He's, as I said before, I have not seen KL bat better than this. Before the start of the tour, I had told that I want KL to do a DK, and to me, KL has done a DK, and that is why India ended the series where they were. Because, see, we remember runs, boundaries, but it's a very important thing to be there out in the middle, facing as much of the bowling as you can, so that others can score. It's also a job. It's also a thankless job at times because you don't get the runs. to make against a soft ball. So, bhai, you will have to have some mercy in terms of where do you draw the line with openers and others in the team.
Okay, good thoughts over there. Sanjay asking Akshay, will be interested to know Bethel's rating from Akshay, especially. This match obviously played only one out of the five tests. What have you made of him?
Why would I make anything of anyone from just one test match? Yaar? It's too unfair on him, and he's too young either way. So there's no point making anything of him.
He's not an
Yeah,
Indian selector. Let's go.
I would just criticize the dismissal in that second innings. I mean, I know modern day batters play that way. So if it kind of was creamed through the offside, we'd be like, wow, this guy's going to take our breath away. But again, situationally, I would probably just fault him over there. Sanjay also asking us thoughts on Morning as the bowling coach. I mean, essentially, the way I see it or read off it in the press is a lot of these bowlers in this crop have huge respect for Morning, not because what he's achieved in the game, because how he treats them, the man manager that he is, the gentle giant that he is. That's the perception from the outside. Inside, you don't know how things are going on. You understand very well that Gambhir's backroom staff have been let go of in various capacities already recently. So whether Moni stands the test of time with Ryan Tendishkate, only time will tell. But your 2 cents really quickly on Moni, guys. Nikhil, for you, is he doing a good job, at least from the outside?
I don't think we've seen enough to say how much of a difference is made. And again, it's always going to be subjective. We would never know. Now, we knew about Bharat because people came out and spoke about him at length, and we could see it happen. We haven't seen that improvement in a lot of Indian bowlers, but then you can always say that it's very early to decide on Morne Morkal ke bhai, how much is he impacting. But it's a very, I don't know how do you put it rightly, because to me the problem is usage. And if the problem is usage, who is taking that call? Is it the bowling coach? No. It might be the captain only, or along with consultation with the coach. But there has to be some talk between the group that we have to do better. And then when you get to the bowlers individually, then you wonder if Akash Deep ke saath Mohammed Mogul kitna kaam kar raha hai, is length, is pitch pe ye length dalna chahiye. Even in this very test, you figure out India bowled poorly in the first day. Who is responsible for it? How is the coach not knowing why is Anshul Kumar bowling slow? Now, these are all the things that we do not have answers to. So, I feel it might not be wrong if he's let go of, if they do not see any improvement, but it's for this inner circle to take a call. And there are enough things that we should be worried. Akash taking time to find his right spell, Prasidh Krishna not having control now. These are all not things that can be solved immediately. But are you doing enough every single day to make sure they go out over a period of time? So it's going to be a job. It's going to be a call that we will have little idea about, but I can see it happening in the near future if India lose at home.
Okay, interesting. Akshay, I'll give you another one. Santosh Virupa saying, do you think it's a good, bad idea to schedule men and women's matches of a tournament like 100 simultaneously? What's your take on it?
I understand where they're coming from. They want to try and make it an all-day experience for them. So I myself will be going for one in a couple of weeks. I'm looking forward to seeing how it goes. So it is an interesting schedule in that I heard Josh Butler also talk about how it helps the players is because the women's games happen before the men's games. The players share information, data on how the surface is going and all of it. So it adds an interesting tactical element to it. So both the men's and the women's teams now then will have to mingle and it has to be a bigger group, so to say. It can't be just two different entities altogether of the same arm. And that's where it is interesting. I don't see why it's a bad idea per se. It's an all right idea. I would have been fine without it as well. But if they've come up with something like this, where I'm happy with an idea like this is it ensures consistency in that the same sides are playing both tournaments. And that I'm a big fan of. I don't want different ownerships and different managements for IPL and WPL, for instance. So that's where I really think this is a great idea.
Okay, super. Chandan Rame in the chat saying, speaking of women's cricket, KC is having a Maharani trophy.
I'll have to
well
bounce.
done. Super. Akshay, we'll let you go. And I think I have a couple of more to give to Nix, but thank you for your time and good luck with your travels in Scotland. In Aberdeen, it's Sir Alex Ferguson country. So enjoy yourself over there and love from Bangalore, which is very gloomy, by the way. It's been raining cats and dogs here just for a weather update. But see you soon. And Akshay is going to be doing the women's podcast and lots of fun things as well. So catch him for that. Nick's just a couple of more questions to finish up with you, and then we'll head out as well of M&L. I think there's one coming in from Rahul Singh, really trying to attack you here. Nikhil, bro, only because of two bowlers taking 17 wickets each in 2 wins doesn't cover whatever the shit playing 11 we were playing in this series. Your thoughts on that, Nikhil?
Yeah, but their cricket isn't as black and white as we wanted to. I think Ben Stokes was clearly the only bowler of difference for a major part of the series. So, if England had won, would you have said that they won only because of one bowler bowling at its best and the others not contributing? That is how cricket always works. You will never have the perfect 11. You'll never have the perfect game. But it is why cricket is what it is. So, of course, you can say that this could have been done better had we held our catches in the first test, had we chased better. But then numbers are not something that are always in your control. And eventually, it is 11 individuals. If two of them step up every game, it is fine. Nobody cares how you win as long as you win. But what we all remember is it's not that India were the undeserving side and they only found individual brilliance and they stayed. They had everybody contributing, but it wasn't in as big a magnitude as we would want them to be. So, and again, we have to remember only two bowlers took wickets because only they were used. Had you used Jadeja more, had you used Sundar more, or had you picked somebody else and used them more, maybe they would have done that as well. So it's not as simple as it may sound or look from the outside, is what I feel.
Yeah, there are lots of ifs and buts in cricket. And Rahul, look, I understand where you're coming from because Gambhir has been found wanting in terms of results as a coach. 3-0 to New Zealand at home, 3-1 to Australia away, and this could have been 3-1 to England away as well. But some of his decisions have been vindicated, and we need to, of course, credit him there. KKR should dissolve themselves if CSK gets Sanju Singh, Sanjay randomly. Vishwa saying, coming home test season, India should look at Howzzaat at 8 and Jadeja at 6. What say? I mean, look, Washington and Akshar Patel are great players of spin as well. And I think they are there in terms of the front runners. There's Kuldeep who can hold a bat in India as well. So lots more things to talk about. Sanjay also adding to the chat.
Just one thing though. My only bit on home test series, play Kuldeep.
Yeah.
Play Kuldeep.
Play Kuldeep just to resuscitate the love for wrist spin and test cricket, just barring that sole reason.
I mean, the guy is in his peak. The guy is in his peak. We might go an entire season without playing a guy in his peak. So we'll have to see more of him, unfortunately.
Yeah, 100%. The irony of Gambhir in his selection is that he selected how he broke his England Player Series. I mean, everyone was kind of livid with that. Even Rahul Singh agreeing with Sanjay over there. And two more questions. We'll wrap up proceedings next. Does Sai Sudarshan have it in him to be India's number 3? The irony is the most critical thing is we need to fix it. Your thoughts? Or the ISON or his stone. I don't know what that word is, but point is, do you see enough
longevity at number 3? Maybe that is what is referring to in terms of position and the role. Yeah, I think so far we haven't seen anything that tells you he isn't. In terms of temperament, in terms of how quickly he's even worked on that aspect of him falling over and playing with a straighter bat and getting in line with the ball. So without getting into technicality, what we have to remember is we have to give people time to earn, to learn, and then to get better. We cannot just expect people to come in and be ready. Test cricket isn't that easy. So I just hope whatever India do, they take a longer term call, and it cannot be 2 matches in the series, you'll be number 3, 2 matches in the series, you'll be number 3. No, it cannot work like that. We'll have to give him probably 10 to 15 games in a row at that spot, and then see if he's making repeated errors, and then you take a call. So it has to be a long-term call.
Okay. Pavan Suresh, we answered this earlier. In fact, we've done a whole segment on it. Go check it out in case you guys have just joined us right now. And lots more random other comments. We really appreciate all you guys making Monday Night Live a very interactive place. And the final question of the evening comes from Chandan Ramaya. Prasid versus Akash Deep, who's ahead? I would say it's neck to neck. Prasid is more, and his Arsenal should get consistent. I generally think you also have to now look at modern day pacers, sure, with their skill sets, what they bring to the party, possible costs and all of that. But what tilts it right now for Akash Deep, in my personal opinion, is that he can really add value with the bat, not just in the back of his 66, but his highest first-class score before this was apparently 50, where he had 8 sixes, so he can tonk it. He bats with the MRF. He's skiddy, and there's different sort of surfaces meant for Akash Deep. So for me, I think Akash Deep is slightly higher in that pecking order over Prasid. I don't know how Nick sees it. Nick?
The MRF, when you put an MRF there, then the topic changes accordingly. But I think I get where Chandan is coming from. And see, the thing is, you don't have to pick between them. And that is what I keep going back to. Their roles are very different in the side. Akash Deep is my new ball bowler. Prasid is the guy that I would want to give the older ball to. So there is room for you to play both of them. So I would not want to look it that way in terms of it should not be one of them.
And this man here, Pratik asking Arshdeep in test, when will we see him?
We need to first see if he can clock 130, 140 in the third spell, fourth spell, fifth spell. We haven't seen that yet. I know we're building him up on the basis of white ball cricket, but in the red ball cricket format, he's had the spells where he's tapered off very, very badly with speeds. And if Siraj has told us something today, you will need some. We all mocked Anshul Kamboj for his speed when he made his debut. Why Arshdeep Singh in this third spell so far hasn't done well. Doesn't mean that he'll not do well ahead, but it needs systematic planning. Get him fit, get them all ready, rest them, rotate them, and then they will be at their best. So I also want left arm seam, but there is Khalil. Maybe play him if you want to.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many questions that India still have to answer in the long run. But look, they're at least third in the WTC standings, 2 points above England, who, of course, were deducted for their slow over rates. But let's see if that kind of goes forward. The home season starts in October. We'll have more things answered, I'm pretty sure, with Gigi, Histon, and Team India. Thank you so much for joining us in this Monday Night Live podcast. If you guys are listening to Spotify, love from there would be appreciated. Likes on YouTube would be appreciated. You can share it all your cricket friends. And there's more to come on cricket.com. There is, of course, a bat ball beta, which I think Nikhil will record with Somesh and Vikas, which will come out tomorrow. There's going to be, I think, another exclusive down the line with a former Team India member. I won't give it away. And if you guys haven't seen the first two exclusives, first with David Gower, where he's spoken about random long shelf life content, as well as Jared Kimber and his latest book. So there's plenty available on cricket.com's YouTube canal. So go check it out and give us some love here. Smash a like, tell us in the comments about everything. And what a day for India. Their narrowest win, and we're happy, or what? Cheers. We'll see you soon. Subscribe right now.